Until about 2 weeks ago, the words Brilyn Hollyhand barely registered online. Google searches, basically zero. Then Charlie Kirk was killed, and suddenly the graph spikes straight up. Now this 19-year-old freshman from Alabama is being called the internet's youngest voice of reason and positioned as Charlie Kirk's heir. But who actually is he? And why is he suddenly everywhere? The fast-tracked resume. Brilyn Hollyhand is a 19-year-old Auburn University freshman being billed as the heir apparent to Charlie Kirk's youth movement machine. In the week after Kirk's death, coverage started flooding in. New York Post, Fox News, Alabama outlets, campus press, all telling the same story. Precious teen interviews big names, gets mentorship access, launches a tour. Even mainstream roundups call him Kirk's protege, stepping into the vacuum Turning Point USA and the GOP desperately want filled. Here's his resume in one breath. Tuscaloosa kid, early conservative media hobbyist. In 2017, he launches the Truth Gazette as an email newsletter, later a site/podcast. By 2019, he's interviewing national figures. January 2023, he's co-chair of the RNC's Youth Advisory Council. 2024, he publishes a book. September of 2025, post-Kirk, he announces a 10-stop TP USA campus tour. It's the same arc that's repeated in bios and on speaker pages. He also comes from a well-connected background. A father in real estate development, family plugged into Alabama GOP circles, and public praise from state officials. That context matters. Also, the name, look, I got nothing on that. It's just a weird-ass name. Not his fault. It's really bad, though. From Truth Gazette to brand Brilyn. Watch the branding. The teen news persona, the Truth Gazette, has been folded into BrilynHollyhand.com. The old site now directs to his personal hub. The About copy, the Speaker Bureau listing, even the URL say the exact same thing. This is no longer a youth outlet, it's a single figure packaged and sold. On X, he calls himself the internet's youngest voice of reason, host of the Brilyn Hollyhand Show, best-selling author, trying to live out 1 Timothy 4:12 every day. So that's his frame. Steady, reasonable, moral. Okay, voice of reason, let's sample the reason. Let's get into that. Let's read some tweets. I just left church and now I'm sitting at lunch watching a Michigan church shot up and set on fire. Christianity is under attack. The devil feels threatened by this revival and is working harder than ever. These aren't coincidences. This is spiritual warfare. Wake up. Very reasonable. Very, very reasonable. Here's another one. Gen Z's time isn't tomorrow, it's today. The left called us Hitler Jr. and labeled our masculinity toxic. Now, Gen Z is shifting to the right in droves. So cool to meet everybody today. So those are his words verbatim. They show the vibe. Apocalyptic, spiritual farming, grievance laundering, and, tested rally lines. Also, nobody would call you Hitler Jr. if you didn't ever say Hitler shit. No one's ever called me Junior Hitler because I've never said Hitler shit. Why the sudden push? You're not imagining it. This kid did pop up out of nowhere. There is a huge institutional incentive to mint a new Gen Z-friendly messenger, and fast. The youth vote is fracturing. The gender split is real. Young men are trending rightward relative to young women, with some data showing it's especially pronounced among young men of color. If you're a party strategist, you think, we need a clean-cut, low-baggage son of the movement to speak to the group we can still move. Enter Brilyn. Press coverage treats the Kirk vacuum like a casting notice. Telegraph and Yahoo roundups literally pose the succession question and present Brilyn as the answer. Tour, book, Fox hits, the works. That's how you bootstrap credibility. Stage a tour, surround him with validators, and let the algorithm do the rest. Scroll his feed and you'll see it. Lots of amplifications of big-name conservatives backing him. Retweets, quote tweets, look who I'm with photos. It's most of what's on there, honestly. That's the lay down credibility phase. Bio plus Instagram Reels plus campus tour promos equals a perfectly coordinated push. What's real? What's curated? Here's some facts. That he's 19, a freshman, co-chaired the RNC Youth Advisory Council in 2023, published a book, launched a TPUSA-sponsored tour after Kirk's death. Another fact, the Truth Gazette now funnels into his personal site. That's a classic step from kid journalist to political influencer. Fact. Coverage explicitly positions him as Kirk's protege/heir apparent. That framing is doing heavy lifting and is useful for people who want a controllable successor. Curation. Voice of reason versus the content itself. When your go-to claims are spiritual warfare and we were called Hitler Jr. and we're not happy about it, that's not reason at all. That's rage bait with a youth pastor vibe. Messaging engineered to keep engagement hot and identities hardened. Context. Gen Z men are a priority target. The post-Kirk vacuum intensified the search for a new face. Political operations with money on the line don't leave a vacuum, they fill it. A quick message for Gen Z viewers. If you're a Gen Z guy here to bully me in the comments again, yeah, we look at the analytics, we know it's you. Here's a thought. If you're younger and inaudited with be a man, masculinity is under attack, spiritual warfare, content, here's a thought. Before you let any influencer, left or right, define your identity, ask two questions. What's the incentive? Who profits politically or financially when you feel attacked and angry all the time? And what's the pattern? Does this person mostly sell grievances and enemies, or do they offer skills, community, and real-world paths that actually help you? You don't actually need to put anyone else down to win. You don't need a 19-year-old with a ring light to tell you your worth. You're allowed to be complicated and kind and ambitious and curious without adopting someone else's outrage diet. You're actually smart and capable enough to succeed and find joy in your life without bringing others down. It's kind of emasculating in my opinion. They think you're that shit that you can't pull this off without getting rid of all the immigrants. You can. Where this goes next. Short term, you'll probably see more sold out rooms, more cable hits, more look who endorsed me posts. The tour format works, and the political calendar demands a messenger. The question isn't whether Brilyn can fill an auditorium right now, he definitely can. The question is whether the ideas he's selling, spiritual warfare, grievance masculinity, partisan certainty, actually make Gen Z's real lives any better. Or whether they only make things better for the people who need you angry to stay powerful. And if you're wondering, wait, did I literally never hear this kid's name until like 2 weeks ago? Yeah, because you didn't. That's the power of modern political marketing. Discoverability on Monday, destiny by Friday, and a movement by next week. The Google line really tells the story. Nothing, 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 nothing. Boom, vertical line. Thank you for sticking around to the end, and if you want more breakdowns like this, the kind that go a little bit deeper than the headlines and keep you a little bit of a step above the spin, hit subscribe. It really helps me keep making videos like this, and also we're having heaps of fun over here. Like, you should totally subscribe now, so you can be like, oh, I subscribed before it was cool. And if you're interested in what's going on with the right, check out my recent video on their obsession with trans people or my deep dive into Nick Fuentes. Look, both eye-opening, both not the best news. Bye!